Hello, in this video I am going to show you how to set up Cocos2d-x version 4 on Windows for Android using Android Studio. If you are interested in setting it up for Windows, just for Windows development, or on Mac for iOS, for Mac or Android development, or potentially on Linux for Linux and Android development, I've got videos covering those topics, so feel free to check them out. And yeah, it's not too difficult to do this. So the first of all, the few things that we need to download. First, go to cocos.com. Just want to mention I will provide a link to every website that we visit that we need to download stuff from. So you can either type it along or just get it from the description. And go to products, Cocos2d-x. Also, I want to say that if for whatever reason when you're watching the video, maybe it's like in 6 months time, if one of the links isn't working for some reason, maybe there's a new version out, the link's broken, let me know, and I'll update the link. Okay, so let's grab the latest version, which is literally just 4.0 at the moment. So click download, and this has C++, JavaScript, and Lua bindings as well. And that's just a quick option when you create the project, which I'll be showing in a bit. Okay, so I'm gonna cancel this because I've already got it downloaded just to save some time. So, but obviously you just need to lay download. Next thing that you will need is Python, and let's go to python.org and go to downloads. Don't click the download here. You want to go to view full list of downloads. You need the latest version 2. So not the latest version, the latest one in version 2, which I believe is 2.7.6. Python version. Click on that release schedule. Well, that's just some information about it. We can know that. So if we go, actually, the latest version is 2.718. That was literally released 2 days ago. Okay, so we can download that one because the one I was downloading was 2.7117. Or actually, I think I might have even downloaded that one. But yeah, in the latest version 2 is the one you want. If you have a slightly older version 2, that's fine as well. Just basically a version 2. So from here, you want to select one of the MSI installers. So if you have -64 at the end, that means 64-bit. So if you have a 64-bit OS, both are supported. If you have a 32-bit OS, only this regular x86 is supported. To find out, go to System Properties, and there it says 64-bit. So I can use 32-bit or 64-bit. And if it says 32-bit there, then you can only use the x86 to 32-bit one. So I'm going to download that one because that's I've got 64-bit. So just download whichever version you need, and I'm going to let that download. Next, what we need to get hold of is Android Studio. This is quite a big download. I think it weighs in at about 700 odd meg. So just go to the link right here and go to download. Just grab the latest version. Should start downloading any moment now. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna cancel it because I should already have it. Plus, I've already got it in store, so I'm gonna cancel that. Okay, so next thing that we want to do, I've actually got. That's an older Python, so I can delete that one. Don't need CMake as well. We'll be installing that via Android Studio, so we don't need that. So just double click this and install for users. Did I click cancel? Did I click? Yeah, I clicked next, didn't I? Okay. Okay, that is fine. You can just install it in the default location. Click next. Okay, so from here, you can keep everything as default, but just make sure when it says add python.exe to path, you click on this and select entire feature will be installed on local hard drive. It should already be, assigned like that, but just in case it isn't, make sure it is. Click next and just click install. Shouldn't take long to install at all. Okay, it's still going. Probably just removing files from my previous installation. You probably won't even get this stage during your installation, and you'll probably, go like that. Woohoo, almost there. and he decides to go back to the start of the bar. Like, teases you a little bit. It's done. Then it just starts back again. This the point where he just goes really fast, and just finishes. Okay, so that is all done now. Click finish. And to make sure it is installed, open up command prompt and type in the keyword Python. If you get something along these lines, great, it's successfully installed. You can get out of the Python terminal by pressing Ctrl+C. And yeah, so that is successfully installed with Python. If that doesn't work there, make sure if you have a command prompt already open, close it down and reopen it. If that doesn't work, just give your computer a reboot and that should work fine. We will need command prompt, but just not yet. So next thing you want to do is install the Android Studio IDE. And I'm just actually not going to install this. I've already got it installed, and this one takes quite a bit of time. So I'll just tell you what you need to do. Just waiting for it to launch up. Okay, so yeah, basically when it launches up, just go through the setup process. You can stick with a standard basic setup. You can go on a custom mode and put it into a different hard drive or a different directory if you want to. Just one thing, that you'll get to a screen where it'll ask you if you want to install AVD emulator as well. That box is usually checked. Make sure it is checked. If for whatever reason you don't, I will actually show you later on in the video how to install it anyway. So it's not the end of the world, but it just makes things a little bit easier. So when you get to the part in the installation where there'll be probably one checkbox that is grayed, but it has to be selected, which is Android Studio, then there'll be the option of installing AVD emulator, which is an Android virtual device to be able to test our games. So just install that. It'll take a bit of time. Once that is installed, next what we need to do is go to where we downloaded Cocos, and I've put it in my D drive in the folder called development. So I like to do that just to keep everything neat and tidy. Plus, whenever we create a new project, you'll refer to this directory. So make sure it's a permanent directory that you're not going to be moving the files around and renaming stuff. Okay, so to extract it, just right click and extract all. You can extract using 7-zip or WinRAR or some other tool, but I'll just show you the built-in Windows tool. So click extract. And I'm going to cancel this because this is going to take a bit of time. I've already got it extracted right here. So this is what you want to do. Rename it to Cocos2d-x, or literally without the version. The reason I do that, it is optional, is just in case I update Cocos2d-x, maybe version 4.1 comes out, and I can just update the files inside and all the linking will still be correct, but there won't be an incorrect version on the folder name. That's literally it. The next thing we need to do is actually install Cocos. To do that, we need to run the setup.py command, and to do that, open up command prompt, type in cd, which is the change directory command, and drag on this folder. As you can see, it hasn't actually changed it. So if you are in the C drive, it would have changed it. If you are on a different drive, you need to, after this, put the letter name, make sure it's uppercase, and then colon. Click enter, and as you can see, it has successfully changed it. That's just an optional step. You're changing directory to a directory on a drive that is not the current C drive. Okay, so now we can run the setup.py command. To do that, type in Python space /setup.py. The // just says run this as an executable. Click enter. Okay, so Cocos console root is found. That's fine because I've already got it installed before, but you'll probably set all this up, for you, but that's just automatic. Now it's asking for NDK root. We do need this for Android development, but we're not going to download it from the Android website. We're going to download it through Android Studio. So we can press enter to skip. Android SDK root. Again, we're not going to download this through the, from the Android website. We can download this in Android Studio. So click enter to skip, and it says please restart the terminal or restart computer to make added system variables take effect. So let's just restart this. Open command prompt again. Is command prompt a little bigger this time? Is it me or is it a little bigger? Is it that version? Oh yeah, that version over there is bigger. Oh, strange. Okay, so to make sure it's installed, type in Cocos. There we go. If you get something along these lines and not an error, that means it is successfully installed. If not, make sure you do reboot command prompt. If that don't work, restart the computer and it should be fine. And so now, don't want that. So now what we need to do is, I'm going to clear the screen. We can actually create a project using, Cocos2d-x. So to do that, first of all, I want to go to CD desktop. So I'm on the desktop now, but you can create your project wherever you want. And to create a project, you say Cocos space new space the name of the project. So I'm going to call it Epic Game space -L space. Now here, -L is language. So CPP for C++, JS for JavaScript, Lua for the Lua binding. So CPP, now you can put an optional parameter of -p, which is package name. So something like com.sonarsystems.epicgame. And obviously you can choose a different domain relative to your company. Click enter. It will go through the process of creating this folder, copying over the Cocos files, and just creating our project. So this shouldn't take long, and yeah, so just gotta wait for this to complete. So just waiting. Still waiting. So depending on your computer, it may be slow, it may be fast. I think because I've got it on a separate hard drive and it's just taking a little while to basically copy the files over. So because obviously I'm creating the project on the desktop and I set up, Cocos in the D drive, which is just a regular, physical hard drive. It's not a solid state drive like where my desktop is. Okay, that's all created now. We can actually close this down. So in Epic Game, we have the classes, which is our game classes. We have resources, which is stuff like images, fonts, and audio eventually. We have the Cocos2d library, and then we have the project files. So we don't need iOS, Mac, that's obviously for Mac. Linux is for the Linux side. Win32, I've got a separate video covering that. We want to deal with project on Android. We can't open this directly. We need to launch up Android Studio. So launch this up. And if this is the first time launching up, it may take a little bit longer than usual. It's just usually the case because it's usually setting a few things up. So just waiting for this to launch up. I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, there we go. Before we open our project, there's a couple of things that we need to install, and I'll show you what they are right now. Okay, so again, just waiting for Android Studio to launch up. Okay, now that it's all launched up, you want to go to Configure, and go to SDK Manager. And when the SDK Manager window pops up, and from here, you should already have downloaded an SDK platform, and if it hasn't, just select the, I'll say the latest one, I'll say the latest non-preview version, because I've already installed this previously, so I've got Pi. And to install it, you select it and then click apply, and you go through the process of installing. Just accept anything that he asks. Next, in SDK tools, make sure you got what I've selected downloaded. So Android SDK build tools, most of these will be installed by default. NDK probably won't be, so select that. CMake, Android emulator. So that's where, you know, the AVD emulator, that's what that was. So just select that if you haven't installed it. The Android SDK platform tools, Android SDK tools, and Intel x86 emulator accelerator as well. And you can install other stuff if you need them whenever, but that's what we need as a bare minimum. And to show you, the dash just basically means there's an update available. So if I click that, that's basically what you'll get when you select something that's to be updated or to be installed new. Click apply. This will, you know, pop up. Click OK. And obviously for some of the other bigger files, it'll take a bit longer. So, you know, it's just, you know, something that you just got to wait patiently with. Emulate setting, yeah, that's fine. Let's see what the details are saying. Okay, so that's all done now. Click finish. Like I said, so just make sure you have all of these downloaded, and next you can just click apply, go to OK, and go to configure AVD manager. So we're going to create our virtual device. You can plug in a phone, your Android phone, and just run it off there as well. That's pretty simple. So I'm going to delete this one that I've already got. So this is basically the menu you'll see. So create virtual device. And from here you can select a defined device. I'll select the Pixel 3a, select any one you want, and you can have multiple ones, and you can run the app on multiple devices to see what it looks like without physically owning the device. Click next, and from here go to recommended and make sure you just select, I'll say the latest one, but I've already got this downloaded. Select a system image. If you don't have one downloaded, then literally click download button. You'll go through the component installer, start downloading it. It's going to take a bit of time because these are pretty big, a gig or so just wait patiently for that to complete. But I've already got Pi downloaded, so I'll continue with that. Next, feel free to name it. Default orientation, you can change that if you want to. You can have a look at some of the advanced settings, choose how much in storage you want to provide, SD card, all of that stuff. Click finish, and I would say launch it up by clicking the play button just once, and because it takes a bit of time to launch up, so I recommend just getting the launch out of the way before we get into the Cocos side of things. So just wait for the Android emulator to launch. It's going to take a bit of time the first time, but subsequently, every time we close it, it will actually just put it into sleep mode, and that'll make things really quick to launch up. So just go wait for this to install now. It shouldn't be not installed to launch, because this is just literally like launching a fresh new phone, like opening the box, turning the power on, clicking the power button, hoping there's some power, and then it turning on. And as you know, that takes a bit of time. So this is essentially what this is emulating. Okay, so again, just a waiting game here. Let's wait patiently for this to launch up. Okay, so that has all successfully launched up, and we can use it as we normally would, like a phone. So no thanks. And let's just shut it down. And we can close this down as well. So shutting that down. Finally can take a bit of time to shut down. So there we go. So next what we want to do is go to import project, Gradle, Eclipse, ADT, etc. So click that and go to where you've created your project using that Cocos command. And I can press this button, which takes me to the desktop because mine's on the desktop, makes things easy. If not, just navigate to it. And you want to go to select this project.android folder, click OK, and this is going to import the project now. So it will be launching up. Just got to wait patiently. It just takes a bit of time, Android Studio does. Okay, so click close and wait for all this indexing to complete, because before that we can't actually do much. As you can see, some of the buttons are beginning to become not grayed out. So just wait for all this Gradle stuff to build. So it's just, again, there's a lot of waiting in this, but once you've reset up Cocos, you don't need to set up Cocos again. You just need to run that Cocos new game command -l -p, for example, every time you want a new project. And then once you create a project, you don't need to constantly keep importing. Once you've done the import once, you can just open the project from there, and you won't have to do all the steps that I'm about to show you in a second once this all opens up. So he's going for the grade build. It might take a little bit longer for you on certain steps because if it's the first time launching a project in Android Studio, it will be downloading certain things. So do not close this down. We will need to update it in a second. So if I go to Gradle scripts, it says here Pixel 3a, that virtual device we created, device supports x86, but APK only supports EABI-V7A. So to fix that, go to Gradle.properties and scroll down. Here you want to copy all of this because we've already got the first one in there. So copy that with the colon, paste it here, click sync now, and as you will see in a second, that error will disappear and only the Pixel device name will appear there. Okay, so that is all good now. And if I click the play button, let's see what happens. Plus, as you can see, the CPP folder is grayed out. I mean, it's not, you can't expand it, but we're going to be fixing that. It's just automatically going to get fixed. Okay, so we get a build error. So we're getting a build error. So it is launching the emulator, but it's pretty useless at the moment because we are getting an error, and the error is stating there's a couple errors we need to fix. I just want to see which one it is. Okay, so that should be the Gradle thing. So Gradle-wrapper properties. We need to update this from version 5.1.1. So click this update button here and click update. So the latest version is 5.6.4. So click update on there. It'll take a little longer for you because it will go through the process of downloading Gradle 5.6.4. For me, it won't do that because I've already got it downloaded, and it should just update it. So it is doing something in the background. Again, it is just another patient waiting game. Okay, so we're going through the Gradle build again. and greater project sync in progress, and this version should update soon. So again, this is something you just gotta wait for. It takes a bit of time. Okay, so that should be updated. So if I was to open that up, as you can see, say 5.64, and that is fine. We can click sync now. Okay, so we get an error regarding NDK. Remember, we did download that in our SDK settings. So we just need to select it, go to File, Project Structure, go to SDK Location. SDK location and the JDK location is selected. For some reason, Android NDK isn't, but if we click the drop down, it appears right there. It is, there. It just doesn't automatically get selected when you create a new project for some reason. So just click that, click apply, click OK, and this should go through the process of building it again. And hopefully this should be successful now. Okay, so we're getting an error now. Apparently the process cannot access the file because it is being used by another process. Which file is? Oh. I don't think it's to do with the emulator. It's pretty strange that is. Never had that error before. Let me just try running it again. Okay, still saying that one problem. So let me shut this down and just reopen it. So to reopen it, just go to Android Studio. And as you can see, there's a few more, files that have been created inside here now. Okay, so just waiting for this to launch up. Oh, there we go. Close that down. Yeah, let's give this. It's still going for the greater build stuff, so let's just wait for that. And if you do need to open up a new project, you can just go to File and open up a new separate project if it's not the same one again. Okay, let's see what it's saying here. So as you can see, the CPP folder now has a little drop down button next to it to expand it, so that's good. So again, just wait for all of these processes to run. And also, it probably won't take another reason it takes taking a little longer on my system. Probably won't take as long on yours. Is I am recording this video as well, which is taking up some processing power as well. And again, it's just a waiting game for a lot of it. So okay, that's all updated. So let's click the play button now. And this should start building our project and compiling all the files. It's launched up the emulator, but for that there's a lot of stuff it needs to compile first time round. It's like 600 odd files. So just gotta wait patiently for that. And it should start, showing us the compilation stuff down here, all the files that's going through once the grader has built the model. So again, just wait patiently for this. Okay, so there it is. That's where I want to see the build. So yeah, this is gonna go through building all this stuff. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff that it needs to build. And all these, 600, odd files, this will just only happen once per project unless you clean your entire project out and rebuild everything. So if you make an update, let's say in a couple of files, you'll just recompile those files and build them and you'll be good to go. So this initial large compilation, so I was having some remembrance that CMake error. You know what that was about? The first time I've ever actually had it, it just seemed like I think Android Studio somewhere else in it was trying to use that file. Just close that down, relaunch. If you get anything about can't access files, it should be solved by closing Android Studio down. If that does not solve it, reboot the system and that should solve it. So yeah, just waiting patiently now. Okay, so it is almost done. We had some red there. That looks okay. And it looks okay. So it's built successful. It should launch it up in the emulator. So first of all, it's installing it. So this is just the process of that APK that all of that has built, installing that onto the emulator. If we plugged in a device like a phone, we could, in this drop down, select that phone. So that's just something to bear in mind. So make sure on your phone you put that in development mode. Feel free to Google how to do that for your particular device. If you need help for that, feel free to, contact me. Okay. System UI is not responding. It's not good. I think the emulator is struggling here. They're launching up the app. Something launching up. Let me stop the process. And let me just relaunch it. As you can see, it won't go through that 600 odd file compilation thing because I haven't updated anything. So it just checked the stuff, said it's all up to date, doesn't need to do anything, and just wait for the device to turn on. There we go. It has now worked. Okay, so it's in a wrong orientation. The orientation, I believe, should be like this. So if I run it now, maybe that's the orientation selected. Okay, you can change that all in the properties anyway for the application. But yeah, as you can see, it has now launched. And last thing I want to show you is if I was to go to CPP, this is where all of our files. I'll go to my game, go to classes. This is where all our files are. If I go to hello world scene.cpp, and if I was to just make a change, instead of hello world, it says hello world XYZ. XYZ, and if I click the run button now, it won't go through the process of compiling 647 files. You'll just compile this one particular file and everything else will be up to date. So all the other stuff that you're compiling was Cocos2d libraries. So it's just building and running, and this should not take as long as it did before. And again, it should be a lot faster on your computer because I'm recording at the same time. That does heavily slow down the process as well. Okay, so now this is going through the hello world scene.cpp and is just compiling into an object file. And it's just linking it now. And there we go. So this should be launching up. Something about system UI. I think the application launching up there. And the orientation just seems to be messed up. Okay, there we go. So it's in the correct orientation now. I don't know what was, going on before. Seem to be having problems while I'm recording. It's like the resources on the computer are running low. But yeah, there you go. As you can see, it has updated. I'm going to click square on that. And that is how you set up Cocos2d-x version 4 on Windows. How you set up Android Studio, import your project, set up Android Studio for NDK, CMake, all that good stuff. Update Gradle and create a project and start coding. And you can start coding right now. And again, If you want to, open up a different project, you can go from here. You can go to new project, or you can just exit and just open up a new project. Or you can just, open recent, close project as well. So, and the project has been closed. So that is it. If you have any questions, feel free to pop me a message. So this is the window that you'll get back up, and this just does not seem to want to die. And from here, you can go to import project Gradle again. So that is it. If you have any questions, feel free to pop me a message. And as usual, I look forward to seeing you in the next video.